Hey, Mike Healy here, and thank you for watching this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just tell you a story about what a friend of mine did to me just recently. And he basically asked me a question. He said, "What are you doing with your money? Like, how are you getting it to multiply? What are you investing in?" And things like that. And I kind of told him a few things that I was looking at and some things that I've been doing. And then he asked me this question that I'm going to pull up on the screen for you right now. He said, "What if you could purchase a software device that was in massive demand, had no maintenance, was a tax write off, considered a digital asset, and paid you monthly and lasted 3 to 5 years?" And I asked him kind of what kind of money we talking about monthly. He said for a one time payment of 15 grand, I could actually get one of these devices and it would pay out between $1,000 and $4,000 a month perpetually for the next 5 years. So that got my attention, and I said, you know what? Let me do some due diligence. Show me what you got. Explain this to me. And what I plan on doing right now is I'm going to show it to you because I think we've got something significant here. Now, before I jump into all the details of what we're talking about here, I think it's just important that I get people's attention or get your attention and understand that there are different ways of making money out there, doing some kind of investment things. And most people are into like 401ks, which are dropping like crazy. Dividends, because of inflation, are going down. Banks are collapsing on a pretty much regular basis at this point. The purchasing power of the dollar is in the tank, which is why people are looking for different places to put their money. Most of the time, you're going to see red across the stock market. And the other problem that's now really about to hit the country, especially here in the United States, is the fact that credit is out going through the roof, whereas savings is plummeting. Okay. So people need an alternative way of creating income and also protecting their money. Okay. So you're probably understanding that. Now, a lot of people believe that silver and gold is a great protection. I'm a huge fan of it and so on. But you're looking at it from an investment standpoint or an income growth standpoint. You can kind of see, I pulled this off screenshots just a little bit ago, that over the last 5 years, it's gone up a little bit. You can kind of see that in the bottom middle. But what I want to show you, I want to talk to you right now about what the new gold rush is. The new gold rush is actually data. And when I'm talking data, I'm talking everything you can think of, especially because of the explosion of artificial intelligence. Okay, data is the new gold. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a short clip of two news clips. You probably know Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, from some of the things that he's done. I'm going to play this video for you, and then I'm going to show you another one. I think it's from CNBC about where these guys are putting their money and why data is the place that people want to go to.
And here's a real-time situation. In development in real estate right now, the hottest asset class is very high-end data centers. They cost anywhere from $2.5 to $3.5 billion each. They're very expensive. They require low power. You need permits. But most of the major institutions in the world need more data centers, and that's why developers like me are doing this.
In all of commercial real estate, all of it, is this the place to be? Data centers?
This is absolutely the place to be. When you think about the trends that are unfolding within artificial intelligence and the impact that's going to have on demand for data centers, the growth is going to be more robust than anything we have seen over the past 2 decades.
So how much, quantify that for me, how much growth are we going to see? If we're at X now, we're going to be at X times by when?
Over the next 5 years, I think you're going to begin to see what I will call a transformational moment for data center demand. This is ultimately going to require billions and billions of dollars of new capital investment into the space that will transform the market and really grow the cash flows of these companies in a way that we haven't seen before.
So, and this is being driven by AI.
Okay, so obviously you can see there's a demand. I mean, if you really go on and you start doing some Google searches, you do YouTube searches and look at all the data centers, and the top stocks that are growing the fastest with the highest returns right now are companies that are investing into data centers, okay? This is something too, I pulled this from just recently from an older post. It said private investors have snapped up data centers in recent years, but plenty of other potential investment opportunities in the sector's value chain may be going unnoticed. And this is from Forbes. 5 trends driving the data center boom and why investors are taking notice. Okay. What I want to introduce you to right now is what we're excited about. And you can just take a look at it and see if it's something that might interest you. Okay. And it's a new project that got recently launched called CloudX. Project CloudX is what we're calling it. Now, I'm going to give you a disclaimer here because I am not none of this information I provide is intended or investment, tax, accounting, or legal advice. It's not an endorsement to buy or sell. I'm not selling you anything. All I'm doing is showing you the opportunity to purchase software that companies have the ability to put their data on, and you basically kind of get it to rent that out. Okay, that's just in a nutshell, that's how it works. So let me go through that. So understanding a little bit more of what I'm talking about here. So what is the cloud, how the cloud tech market works, and what it means to you for owning a cloud business, okay? So right now in the world, data is king. Data is king. There's over 328.77 trillion megabytes of data created each day, which is insane. They estimate that 90% of the world's data was generated in the last 2 years alone. And stored data grows 5 times faster than the world economy. Okay, so massive, massive demand, right? Now, every time, if you don't know what it means, basically anytime anybody uses a phone, the internet, any apps, web browsers, smart devices, and obviously all the gaming stuff out there now, data is being processed and being stored, okay? And that costs money. That's money that you and I can get our hands on if you're not aware of that, which is what I'm trying to explain to you. In the world of data, the cloud's everything. Now, a cloud is not just a physical cloud up in the sky. A cloud is kind of a digital term that they've given that stores things that can be downloaded virtually, okay? That's kind of how the cloud works. You can see that 85% there in the middle, 85% of organizations are going to be cloud first by 2025. That's literally next year from the time I'm making this video, okay? So it's just absolutely exploding. The market size right now is the largest in the US with $495 billion. And they said it's estimated to grow to 2 trillion by 2032. And that will be here before you know it. Okay. So it's what I'm trying to emphasize here is how significant of an impact this is having on the world economies. Okay. AI is actually now going to affect 40% of jobs. People are going to lose jobs because they can be outsourced in most cases by AI. Now, you can obviously protect your job by learning how that works and so on, and maybe, find yourself of value to these companies. But this is something that's going to happen. So what we're doing is we're showing, or we're offering a possibility that somebody can get in here and get in on what the big people are putting their money into. And you're going to see as I go through this why it's such a significant, such a great opportunity. So the solution here is a CloudX, which is the Fusion Cloud. It's a hybrid cloud with decentralized ownership, powered by Innate. Okay, now all it comes down to is this. You have the ability to own your own CloudX, what they call server/unit. You can lease it, or you can just, and then what happens, or you can lease it. Okay, so most of us are buying these and we own them outright for 3 to 5 years. I think they're going to last probably about 7 years. And then they are just going to be at the bottom here. You see it says load the units. Basically, it's similar to like a hotel. If somebody owned a hotel as an asset, and let's say there's 100 rooms in it, the occupancy as it gets filled pays a royalty to the person that owns that asset, owns that hotel. It's the same thing. And so what's happening is the demand for data is where people are looking to store their data and have to push it onto these data centers or data units. And by you owning one, you actually get the paid for it. Now, how it works is really, really simple. Okay. There's just basically a few things. You purchase one and then they install it for you. You do not have to get it at your house. You don't put it in your home. You don't have to have an office or anything like that. They already have locations for it. And I'm going to show you those in a second. So basically on the left there, you see you purchase or lease a CloudX hardware pack. Then they host the hardware at the designated CloudX data center. The current one we have is in Irvine, California, just outside of LA. Next one, I believe, is going to open up in Miami. Then the next one opens up around outside of New York, and then global expansion begins from there. Your hardware is then provisioned and monitored by the experts. Okay, so there's people that are actually doing these things. The machines are real high level. I am not going to get into and try to explain you these machines. We can obviously get you details on that if you need to. Now, they're located just outside of LA, like I said. These are kind of what they look like. There's video footage we already have that you can see of them, of people taking tours of them, but they're extremely secure, highly protected places. And the centers that we have our units in house also like Meta, Google, Amazon, things like that. So they're real high level, real high security. So you can feel confident that what you're getting is in the right spot and doing the right things. Okay. Now the step two. So if you buy that, then step two is this: you get to use your private server. One, so if you have a lot of data yourself, you're a business owner, or you just use a lot of data, you can actually store your own stuff on your own server if you have one of those data units. Or what a lot of us do, obviously, is we can share our data units, which is kind of the big picture here. Is once you own one, you can basically say it's open for business, and you can rent it to tenants. And as they fill your your unit, you are paid the royalties on that on a regular basis. One of the ways we get these things filled is we have other services, or there's other companies out there that are already loading, cloud-based services such as web hosting, website builders, AI-powered content, things like that. Gaming companies are coming on board. Other corporations that have to do like, payroll and stuff that use all that data are helping load those machines, which you then, again, as your machine fills, you get paid on that on a monthly basis. Okay. Now, as an example, let me just kind of run through this, and we're actually almost done here, but just follow me to the rest of this so you can see just the full capacity, because this is important. This page I'm going to take a little time on. A lot of people invested into Bitcoin mining. I'm guarantee you're probably familiar with at least the word Bitcoin, and how tokens are created is they were mined, is what they called it. On average right now, it's only generating about 5 US a day when these things were launching and stuff like that. But there was a big demand for it because obviously the value of Bitcoin went way up. The data servers, and when we're talking about, back to the hotel example of the units being filled, at a 10% usage, they're estimating that that would generate between just around $20 a day. Per month, it would be about $600, and that would add to your bottom line about $7,200 a year off of just a 10% capacity fill on your data center, which is pretty amazing. At a 50% capacity, they're estimating that it would be around $3,000 a month or $36,000 a year. 100% capacity would be about $200 a day. Okay. And again, I mentioned this at the very beginning. This is for a one-time purchase of a $15,000 unit. Now, there may be some other costs associated, like a monthly I think it's like a $90 or $100 fee that they'll end up paying for maintenance. If you have a wire break or a mouse chews through the wire or something like that, and so on. Okay, and they do have what they call, I think it's redundancy going on, because we have multiple multiple housing stations and different data centers that keep the safety of the data of the people putting it on there. Okay, so if you think about what I'm on this page right here, what I'm just showing you, it's pretty incredible. Okay, and the demand is huge, and I know this is just the beginning phase of what CloudX is bringing forth, because I know there's enterprise level stuff coming as well that are probably going to dwarf even these numbers. Okay, so just think about that. And again, you're basically purchasing these units, and you can get as many as you want, that kind of thing, at 15 grand. They are now ramping this up because it's a fairly recent launch of this company. And then they do have a lease option as well, where you can lease to own. Personally, I think the best route to go is the full, just because it's going to load faster and get the units rented quicker. Now, I would tell you, in a realistic expectation, that if you're getting one of these, you said, you know what, this does make sense, you got a lot of your questions answered and you're ready to pull the trigger, that understand that there's probably a few months to probably 4-month ramp up period, because from the time you buy one It's then purchased and shipped, then it's installed, then it starts to have the ability to bring on tenants, and then it starts to fill, and then the commissions are paid, that kind of thing, the royalties are paid. So you're looking at probably a good 3 to 4 month period before you see anything that will probably get your attention. But after that, if you start to think about it, it starts to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. And you have an asset that is potentially spinning off royalties every month, year in and year out, that has very little maintenance to it, which to me is kind of the best way to to do stuff with your money, that kind of thing. Now, how you purchase one is real simple. You may not be able to see this on the screen very well, but you go online and you just click the kind of software you want. It's going to open a shopping cart. You fill in your info. There's a purchase agreement that you're going to read, okay, and that you'll have to sign. It'll show you exactly all that, so I recommend that. And another pop-up before you leave, which is the managing services agreement, which basically says there are instances where you may have to have something fixed, and it may cost a couple $100, or you already, and I know they're probably going to be bringing out insurance on these things if you want, that kind of thing, okay? But ultimately, it's just $15,000. It can be purchased through coin payments, wire transfers, or we have a thing called NetSense, okay? Most of us do the wire transfers because it's the easiest thing to do. So in closing, I want to just kind of show you as an example what I explained to somebody in a nutshell, because I know this may be a little overwhelming, but this right here is a hard drive. This is a 1 terabyte hard drive that I purchased because I needed backup of storage, right? Well, picture this on steroids. In essence is what it is, except instead of me plugging it directly into the computer, over the internet, over the airwaves, the data is pushed to data centers all over the United States, all over the world, wherever you are in proximity of these. They're going to different data centers. And you're familiar with some of the biggest ones out there, such as AWS, Azure, and stuff like that, and Google, and they're all cloud-based, right? They're all doing that. And you have storage that you typically have to pay for. What these are is, like I said, it's like the devices. So you have one of these basically that you own, but it's big. It's at a remote location that you don't have to worry about. And then as people are sending their data, or we're getting customers that come to their data and fill these up, as these things fill up, you are paid monthly, and you can track that. There's a back office that you get, and you can see your usage, how full your capacity of your thing is, and what your royalties are going to be, and then you decide what you want to do with that money. But I believe that this is the tip of the iceberg with what people have the ability to put their money into. Okay, again, this is not an investment, but what this is the opportunity to buy software, hardware, and then rent that out to tenants that will then, you're basically getting paid off that kind of co-ownership of that. So hopefully you understand what I'm talking about here. Just understand that this is probably one of the biggest things you've ever seen. If you had the opportunity, or you missed the opportunity to get in when Bitcoin was $5 or $500, or you missed investing in when the internet was, just launching and people kind of thought it was a fad, data is the new gold rush. And if you can get in front of a trend, if you can get in front of a mega trend, in fact, before everybody knows about it, you have the opportunity to significantly change your future. And that is a fact. So anyhow, thank you again for watching this. Hopefully you got something out of it. Get back with me or the person that got you to take a look at this. And if you got more questions, they'll feel, we'll help hook you up and make sure that you get those taken care of. So thanks, and I'll see you on the other videos. Thanks.